Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the video. Welcome to my garage. You just saw me start working on the electrical system on Mauler here. I'm at the point now where I need to take it. Remember on his old chassis, I just took all of the electrical, nice and clean. I labeled everything when I took it out of there, so it's really clear as to where everything goes. But at this point, because this chassis is a little bit different from Mauler's old chassis, I need to take the electrical, lay it in there, and make sure that all of the wires reach to where they need to go, and also that I have a clear path where I can lay the wires down and zip tie them to some tubing and make it so that everything's nice and secure. That's where I'm at right now. But since the last video, I continued working on the steering column and the dashboard and all of that stuff, and I want to show you what I did there, or kind of get you caught up to speed as to where I'm at right now. All right, so in the last video, what I was working on primarily was the pedals, the master cylinders, the throttle pedal, things like that, and I had run the steering up to this point, but more importantly, I built myself a little tube running across here for my dashboard. I got some brackets on here for the dashboard. I will show you that in a second. I just made some little panels here that connect to this tube. That tube just runs straight across, connects there. This is just a straight tube. There's no arch to it or anything. I've got some tabs down here for a panel that I'll show you. Most importantly, it's got the steering column right here. This is a bracket for my digital dashboard. And then behind there is where the steering now comes. So I made this little shaft here, which connects to the steering shaft through this little heim. And then this connects to the steering column. It's pretty solid. I'm actually pretty happy with that. That turned out better than I thought. Let me show you what I came up with the dashboard here. So I'm going to bolt all of that stuff in place, and then I'll show you what I've got. So one thing that is a little bit different, see, I've got most of the dash in place there, but on Mauler's original build, I had this Trailtech GPS unit, kind of like as my center console, and this thing's actually pretty cool. When it was air-cooled, this would read the temperature of the air-cooled engine, and this is GPS, so it would give me things like speed, and I could plot trails on here, and I actually liked this quite a bit. It's super tiny. It's meant for motorcycles. So when you, like, if I were to put this here or down here like it was in Mauler, it's not ideal. Although it's a really nice unit, it's not ideal. So on this build, since I'm trying to make him a little better, I decided to get one of these, I don't know exactly what you would call it. I'm calling it like my media center, but this is going to work for Mauler, and I'm also going to be able to use it in the Jeep if I'm just driving the Jeep, or if I'm using it as the tow vehicle. And I'll show you what it's gonna do for me. So this is a digital display. Obviously this is much bigger than the Trailtech, and I'm going to mount this right in the middle here. I'll do that in a second. This device is kind of like an extension of your phone. So my phone with, I think they call it the iPlay, will broadcast to this. and then I'll be able to use GPS, I'll be able to use texting, my phone, all sorts of things like that. And then it also broadcasts on an FM station. So with my phone, I can play like Apple Music or Pandora Music to this. Now in the Jeep, I can broadcast it on an FM signal, and then the Jeep will pick it up and play it through the speakers. I won't do that on Mauler. However, it does have a speaker built into the back, so I will be able to have some music. It will also do Siri. So basically, it will bring my iPhone kind of to like the digital dash in Mauler here. And it came with a plethora of mounts. This is like a traditional suction cup mount, and this I'm going to set up in the Wrangler. But what it came with, which I really like, it came with a permanent mount right here, and this is what I'm going to use to mount it on the dashboard on Mauler. So I've already got the holes drilled, so let me get that installed, and then when I get that mounted, we'll check out the dashboard here. All right, let's check this out. Oh, I forgot the steering wheel. Gotta have the steering wheel for full effect. There we go. All right, there we go. Switched to a wide angle lens. All right, now I got my steering wheel here. You notice this camera shoots right through the wheel, and here is my touch screen. I call this my digital dash. It's the same system I had in Mauler before. It is a touch screen, and it basically just communicates through the OBD2 port so that I can see things like my engine temperature, RPM, fuel level, all the stuff that I don't have because I don't have the vehicle cluster anymore. So I need to be able to see that. That's why that is straight through the steering wheel. Now here's this is also touchscreen, the CarPuride digital dash thing. This, I didn't want something like this in Ratchet because he's a track Baja, and I'm not going to be answering phone calls or text or anything when I'm in Ratchet. But since Mauler is a trail Baja and he's going to be street legal, I do want to be able to use, GPS, texts, phone calls, things like that. And this makes it so that my phone can stay in my pocket and I'll have full access to all that, along with some music and a couple of other cool features. It also has a backup camera, which I'm going to be mounting on the Jeep. Not so much in here because I did install just a basic rear view mirror for that. But the dash, I'm really happy with the dash. It's super simple. This is 1/4 inch, just black ABS plastic. Just like on Ratchet, you can unbolt it without too much difficulty if you need to get behind there. However, access from underneath is really easy. And if you take the fiberglass front end off, and then I will have a panel up here, but take that off, you'll also have excellent access to behind the dashboard. But the steering wheel layout came out really good. It's very comfortable. Everything in here is close, but it's not as close as Ratchet, so it's a little bit more comfortable. I can, I mounted my switch panels down here. They're on their own panel. This is also 1/4 inch ABS. It's really strong, very solid. It's recessed back a little bit just because I think that brake makes it look nice. Also, this now being a completely standalone piece, if I decide that maybe I want to have these switch panels, but then I also want to have like a rugged radios head unit down here or something, you can just unbolt this and just make this one new piece to whatever you need to facilitate anything like that. So very happy with the layout. The pedals are nice and comfortable lengths. Lots of space down here. Dashboard is good. Like I said at the beginning of the video, what I'm working on now is figuring out all of my electrical runs, figuring out where the ECU is going to go. Mainly, I have to make sure that I find somewhere that works with the routing of the wires from the previous chassis. Luckily, once I get to this point here, then everything fits like a glove because, you know, this same engine that was in the other chassis. So just need to, I think I'm going to end up mounting a bracket that holds that down there somewhere. I know that my fuel cell will be right there, but I'm trying to make it so that this can be relatively open. And then of course I need to figure out with my radiator, am I going to put the radiator right here, or am I going to put it like here, like on a wing like I did with Ratchet? I have not decided yet. I'm actually 50-50 right now. I actually really like the wing that I did on Ratchet. That does make the vehicle longer, but it keeps it keeps the radiator back here where it's got more airflow. Most importantly, if anything bursts on the radiator back here, you're not going to get sprayed with any of the coolant. And with the electric fans and all that, you can't hear them at all in the cab. Also, none of that heat circulates through the cab. However, if I put the radiator here, it's not directly behind the driver, so that's not horrible. It will circulate some heat, but this chassis is a little bit more wide open than the other chassis, so that might be less of an issue. I will be able to hear the fans for sure, but I don't know. The benefit to that is then he'll have a little bit more of an actual Baja Bug look because he won't have that big wing back here. So like I said, I'm still deciding on that. I'm gonna get the fuel cell in there, and I'm gonna get the wiring squared up before I figure out what I'm gonna do with the radiator. All right, guys, that's it for this video. There's a couple things going on here that I want to explain to you just so that you guys understand the situation, because I don't know if I put this out there to begin with. My intention with Mauler is, once I'm finished with him, get him running and all that, drive him around a little bit, but then sell him. I don't want two Bajas. I want to get rid of Mauler. I want to have fun building him and making him much better than he was after what I learned from Ratchet and using the basis of the Ratchet chassis. But I want to get him running and I want to get him sold. The weather here now is starting to warm up. It's getting pretty nice out. We're still getting some snow, but the weather is turning, and I'm dying to take Ratchet out. So I probably am going to put the axles in him and take him out in the next couple of weeks. But I'm trying to purposely not focus a lot of time and energy on Ratchet, because I'm trying to put everything I have towards Mauler right now to get him finished and sold so that I can bring Ratchet in here and work on him. What the wife and I want to do is we want to actually purchase an RV and have that be our tow vehicle, and then we want to bring Ratchet all over the place. So we want to go to a lot of places here in Colorado, but we actually want to expand and go to some places in California, Utah. Actually, there's a nice place I think it's in Colorado. But regardless, there's a lot of places that we want to get to. But in order to do that, we want to get rid of Mauler first. As a matter of fact, we need some of the finances from Mauler to do that. So what I'm trying to do, if it feels like I'm rushing through things here, is because I'm trying to focus as much energy as I can on Mauler. But Ratchet's starting to call to me now because the weather's changing. But I'm trying not to put too much effort on him because we want to get this RV sooner than later, and we told ourselves that we need to get rid of Mauler, and we're going to get rid of our Volvo S40 before we get the RV. So that's the situation. That's why I haven't been really doing anything on Ratchet. It was easier when it was cold out. Now that the weather's getting nicer, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do that, but regardless, that's how things have been going here. That's the end of this video. I hope the updates are helping you. I know with emails and messages I get from a lot of people, they're building Bajas. There's more people building Bajas similar to Mauler than there are people building Bajas similar to Ratchet. So I get a lot of questions on this Mauler build. So as I'm moving along with the build, I try to show what I've done to really help those people, or possibly future people watching these videos, showing them how I'm doing certain things and why I'm doing them certain ways to help people out. So thanks for watching the video. Hope it's helping you guys with whatever you're working on, maybe giving you a little bit of entertainment, and I hope to see you on the next video. Take care.